Bonjour, comment allez-vous? This is the Crypto Kid podcast, and today we discuss Bitcoin surges past 70,000 US dollars with Trump victory anticipated. Happy election day. Today is November 5th, 2024. We are already people have already gone out and began voting. The polls are already showing Donald Trump with a very comfortable lead, which is continuing to grow. We will keep you updated on all the latest developments. The market is surging right now. Bitcoin is trading at 70,250 US dollars and 9 cents. It is just on a constant surge. Let me refresh so I can give you a live update. Okay. So price is just staying around $70,250, but it's staying above 70,000 US dollars. Ethereum is trading at 2,400 and what is it? $53. So it is up $55.75 to the price of 2,453 US dollars. I encourage you. I watch a podcast that is on YouTube. Is Stephen Gardner. You should subscribe to him. He's a very trusted source of information. I've subscribed to Stephen Gardner and I watch his podcast every day. He's a great guy, very credible. He's impartial. He's objective like myself. I let everybody know that I am a conservative and constitutionalist, and I'm a registered Republican. However, I'm objective and I call it the way I see it. So if you're cheating and you're a Republican, I'm going to call you out on it. If you're cheating and you're a Democrat or an independent, I'm going to call you out on that. I am an equal opportunity criticizer, and we will uncover your crap. That's just how it goes. That's the only way you can be credible nowadays. The legacy media is all but dead. All we need now is for them to go into bankruptcy. ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, all of these television networks will go on to the auction block within the next 3 to 5 years. Also, legacy media newspapers like the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, which Rupert Murdoch owns, that's going to go up for sale as well because people are not buying printed media. In addition to that, newer but now legacy media outlets like Bloomberg Report, Forbes magazine, they're going to go away as well or go into bankruptcy and just be completely online. And it's because people consume their news media in a different way compared to the last 50 years. And journalists are outright dishonest today. And if you look at the articles that are published physically in the Wall Street Journal, well, the Wall Street Journal has a little bit more credibility, but not much more than the New York Times. The New York Times, all of their writers, their journalists are freelance writers because people have just stopped buying physical newspapers. And so they can't afford to keep people at a desk in the New York Times building in Manhattan. So they just hired freelance journalists who submit articles. And these articles are basically opinion pieces. They're not even real objective articles. So what we've been consuming for the last 10 to 20 years has been opinion pieces. And people want the news objectively. They don't want people's opinion. Even here, when I throw in my opinion occasionally, I put quotation marks that this is me as a person speaking, and this is not what actually occurred in the news. So what we've seen is that the poly market betting pools, they had Donald Trump up by 66% and Kamala Harris having 33% of the vote. Then last week, starting on Thursday, something mysteriously happened, and we saw between 50 and $100 million go into the poly market betting pool, all in favor of Kamala Harris, and chopped that 33-point lead that Donald Trump had from 33% or 33 points to either 8 or 9 points, which is highly suspicious, and it shows you that the Democrats did not think through this scandalous plot. That within 3 days, more than 20-point advantage goes away, which seems the same kind of crap that happened in 2020 when they kept the voting polls open for like a week, and they kept counting votes that were coming in for days, and like one state counted for 3 weeks. So this is ridiculous. Along with that, the fake news media has not reported on recent developments in the court because they want you to believe that the Democrats have won and the Republicans, the GOP, have lost all their lawsuits. But on Friday, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court stepped in and said that ballots without date, ballots that are outdated from 2020 and 2022 can't be counted. Ballots with questionable dates cannot be counted. And this was a victory for the GOP in the state of Pennsylvania. But you notice the fake news media did not announce this. In addition, yesterday, the Georgia Supreme Court stepped in and did the same thing or similar, stating that ballots without a date, ballots that are outdated, ballots that are questionable or have a destroyed date cannot be counted. In addition to that, only ballots that are received by today, November 5th, 2024, can be counted. Therefore, they cannot go check the mail and then continue to count votes tomorrow and for the next 3 days, which is a great victory for GOP in the state of Georgia. And you've heard nothing mentioned by the fake news media. And that's why we call them the fake news media. All of this affects our financial markets. All these political headlines affects our financial markets. And this is why it's important, even on a crypto broadcast, we have to discuss politics because we see that politics do affect market sentiment and the price of whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's stocks, stock options, the value of the dollar. And then we have Thursday, the Federal Reserve announcing it is anticipated that the Federal Reserve, when they make their announcement on Thursday, that it will be an additional rate cut. I believe it'll be another half point, approximately another 50 BP, equivalent to another 50 BPS that they did in September, which sent Bitcoin soaring. So at that point, I believe Bitcoin will soar past 75,000 US dollars. I don't believe the Newt Gingrich stated that if they have swift counting, is like it's clear that Donald Trump is going to win. And as we go towards midnight, he doesn't. Newt Gingrich believes that as it's clear as we go into midnight, that no matter what the vote count turns out to be over the next day or two, that Kamala Harris can't recover. That on Wednesday morning, that is when many people, including Fox News, will call the election in favor of Donald Trump. I'm anticipating that they're going to play some shenanigans and draw this out to either Thursday or Friday, which is November 7th, November 8th. I think the beauty, like I would like to go with Newt Gingrich's assessment of the situation, but if I'm correct and they make the official announcement of Donald Trump's victory on Thursday, then addition to the Federal Reserve Chair, Jerome Powell, announcing a half-point rate cut, I believe in one day, Bitcoin will surge past 75,000 US dollars. And within 5 calendar days, Bitcoin will surge past 85,000 US dollars. However, watch for the pullback. As my friend Greg, who I started trading options and futures with, would always say, my Howard alumnus brother, he would always say, watch for the pullback, Daniel. So watch for the pullback. The pullback is going to come once the announcement is made. Like if they come out Thursday morning and announce Donald Trump has won, along with the Fed cut, Bitcoin is going to surge past 75,000 US dollars that day. But also, you should expect fake news media headlines that Mark Elias will drop all of these lawsuits in Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and possibly one other state to challenge the popular vote and demand a recount. But um, as I saw some statistics earlier, it has to be within a 1% margin, and Donald Trump is going to beat Kamala Harris by more than 1%. So it is unlikely that these requests to recount in certain states are going to be honored. But nevertheless, expect Mark Elias to drop and his legal team to drop a lot of lawsuits the exact same day that they announce a Donald Trump victory. That will momentarily it was like slow or fizzle out the drive, but that to me will be the pullback. Is that with the announcement of a Federal Reserve rate cut and the announcement of Donald Trump's victory, in one day, Bitcoin will surge 75,000 to 75,000 US dollars, surging a total of 5,000 US dollars. In addition to that, that will be and then it'll be headed towards 85,000 US dollars. But expect a dip all the way back to 73,000, 72,000 US dollars the moment, which I expect to be instantaneous, that Mark Elias and the fake news media will push. And I believe they already have the headlines ready and articles partially written to push the narrative of these lawsuits that are going to challenge the vote. But also keep in mind that in the states where there's more than a 1% difference, the Harris campaign cannot request a recount. In addition to that, Mark Elias's lawsuits will not be honored if there is more than a 1% difference. And there will be in every area. None of this is going to be close. So the fake news media wants you to believe that it's neck and neck, and these are all lies. These are just outright fallacies, and that is why the mainstream media has lost its credibility. So given that, by Friday or this coming weekend, Bitcoin will regain its surge and surge past 75,000 US dollars. So what I'm saying again to recap is that in the event that the official announcement of Donald Trump's victory is made Thursday, which is, I believe it'll be Thursday and Friday, and then let's say it's Thursday and Jerome Powell announces also a 0.5% rate cut on the prime interest rate, that on Thursday, the price of Bitcoin will surge past 75,000 US dollars. However, before 5 p.m. on Eastern Standard Time, Mark Elias and his legal team, as well as other Trump campaign legal team supporters, will file lawsuits challenging the popular vote count in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and one or two other states that we're just not aware of. We have to let them show their cards. Okay. And so at that point, Bitcoin will pull back to 73, 72,000 US dollars. However, then on Friday, now that the smoke is cleared after that little short scare, or more of a threat, because that's all it is a threat. But once the market realizes that there's certain criteria necessary for the vote to be recounted, then the market over the weekend will surge past 75,000 US dollars, closer towards 80. I believe, though, from the day that the announcement of Donald Trump's victory is made until 7 days, 5 to 7 days, calendar days, that Bitcoin will surge past 85,000 US dollars before doing a pullback. And at that point, Bitcoin will stay between 82,000 and 85,000 US dollars for the remainder of 2024. Then moving forward we have January 6, 2025, when Kamala Harris, the current vice president, will begrudgingly have to certify the election. I anticipate shenanigans on that date. I expect barricades. It is very likely that between the announcement of Donald Trump's victory and New Year's Eve, that barricades will be placed around the White House as well as the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C. And then those barricades will stay there, anticipating some type of riots for the January 6, 2025 certification that Kamala Harris will have to do. And then from the inauguration date, January 20th, 2025, all the way to July 20th, 2025, Bitcoin will surge past the price of 150,000 US dollars. And during Donald Trump's presidency for the 4 years, we'll see the price of Bitcoin surge past 450,000 US dollars, as in just an incredible high. So this is an opportunity for all Americans to become wealthy with these surges in the financial markets. It's a time to be excited and optimistic as we go into the holiday Christ-born celebration of Christmas. So we already have Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving has arrived early, and it's going to come with this Donald Trump victory. And the month of November is just going to be all Thanksgiving, and we need to start giving thanks for having clean air, clean water, having food, having shelter, having employment, having income, and being in good health. With that, this is the Crypto Kid blessing you and wishing all of you safe election day. I want all of you, whether you're a Democrat, an independent, and a Republican voter, I want all of you guys to be safe, be sensible out there. This election is just a process, and Donald Trump has done what he needed to do in his growth and showing that he is a true leader that we need right now. So with that, God bless you until we meet again. This is the Crypto Kid signing out. And remember, the future is crypto.